US and Iran agreeing to a ceasefire, and surprisingly, Pakistan has emerged as a peacemaker here.
Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif had earlier said the United States and Iran
The global headlines is asking a question that would have been unthinkable just 3 years ago. In 2025, they brokered a ceasefire for Iran. The same year, they got a tariff relief from United States, while Delhi was not even considered. East Pakistan quietly winning the geopolitical game, the game which India thought they have locked down. It's really important to understand Modi's India had spent a decade building the Vishwaguru brand image, the image aimed at making India a global moral leader. The awards include G20 presidency, Quad leadership, and the voice of the global south, and many more. But here's an uncomfortable question. While India was building the stage on solid grounds, did Pakistan sneak in through the side door? Let's dive in. Here's what most analysts miss. The Vishwaguru vision wasn't just a slogan, it was a strategic bet. India would stop asking for a seat at the table and start behaving like it already owned the table. And for a while, it worked wonderfully well. India hosted the G20 summit in 2023 with unprecedented scale, 200 meetings across 60 cities. The Delhi Declaration was a diplomatic coup. The Quad became a real security framework, not just a photo operation. The India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor was a direct counter to China's Belt and Road. But here's what is interesting. While India was building these large-scale institutional plays that pay off over decades, something else was happening in the shorter game.
The Prime Minister is here and you're going to give his regards. Where are you?
The perception game, and that's where Pakistan started to move. Let's rewind to 2025. By most accounts, Pakistan's most consequential diplomatic year in over a decade. First, the big one. Islamabad played a critical back-channel role in brokeraging the US-Iran ceasefire. That wasn't a symbolic gesture. This was Pakistan inserting itself into the high-stakes conflict of the moment, and it got both Washington and Tehran to take a call.
Pakistan is stepping into a high-stakes diplomatic role, positioning itself as a potential lead mediator. According to a report by the Financial Times, Pakistan's Army Chief, Field Marshal Asim Munir, held a conversation with US President Donald Trump on Sunday.
Second, Trump's tariff hit almost every major trading partner in Asia, including India. Pakistan strategically positioned itself on counter-terrorism operations, and this enabled Pakistan to get the relief. Thirdly, Pakistan's climate diplomacy gained traction. As one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change, it turned a weakness into a platform. Post-2022 floods, its voice in climate forums carried a moral weightage. Even the larger world economies couldn't dismiss that cry.
As floods that have left 500,000 people homeless in Pakistan are due to countries with high carbon emissions. Gutierrez said ignoring climate change.
Now, let's try to flip the lens. These are real wins, but are they structural or are they situational? Here's where the story gets strategically fascinating. If you judge purely by headlines, Pakistan looks rising. But if you judge by fundamentals, the picture inverts completely. Let's try to put numbers on the table. India's GDP is roughly $4.1 trillion. Pakistan is about $410 billion. That's a 10-to-1 gap, and it's widening, not narrowing. The IMF projects India growing at 6.5% in 2026. Pakistan is still navigating a bailout cycle.
India continues to stand out in a slowing global economy, with the International Monetary Fund highlighting its strong growth momentum.
India's growth is more than 2 times higher than the average global growth.
India processes more real-time digital payments than US, UK, and Germany combined. It has world's 4th largest military. India manufactures vaccines, launches satellites, and builds aircraft carriers domestically. Pakistan, by contrast, is structurally dependent on IMF programs and remittance flows from abroad for survival. Pakistan's diplomatic wins are real, but they are built on agility, not on economic gravity. So here's a real question. Is Pakistan overtaking India? The answer is no, not even close. But is Pakistan outmaneuvering India in the perception war? That's a different question, and the answer might be a big yes. And here's a critical context that most people miss. The real threat to Vishwaguru brand is not Pakistan, it's expectations. India had spent a decade telling the world it was the next China. India projected itself as the alternative manufacturing hub and the voice of the global south. India wanted to be the bridge between East and the West, but those expectations create obligations, and this is crucial to understand. The trouble comes when India can't deliver fast enough on commitments. Unfulfilled commitments on unemployment, infrastructure, or diplomatic ties hurt us big time.
April in India, according to the latest CMI data, joblessness has risen from 7.8%.
The same global press that celebrated India's story starts writing the other way around. Pakistan, on the other hand, doesn't carry that weightage of expectation. Nobody expects Pakistan to be the next manufacturing superpower. So, when Islamabad pulls off a diplomatic win, the story is about an underdog punching above its weight. When Delhi does the same thing, the story is about whether it's enough for our reputation and expectations. That's not a fair fight, but geopolitics isn't fair. So where does this leave us? Pakistan is not overtaking India in the world stage. The economic, military, and demographic fundamentals don't support that story. But Pakistan has reminded the world of something important. Domestic relevance doesn't always require economic size. It requires timing, agility, and the willingness to be useful. That is useful for bigger powers at the right time. For India, the challenge is different and complex. The Vishwaguru vision required India to be seen as indispensable. But indispensability is earned in crisis, not in summits and festivals. The question is not whether India can host a G20 summit. The real question is, when the next global crisis erupts, will New Delhi get the world's first call? To summarize it, right now the phone has been ringing in New Delhi, but it's ringing in Islamabad too. And that, more than any GDP number, should make New Delhi pay attention to, because it matters in the world stage and to our status as Vishwaguru. So what do you think? Who is winning this diplomatic race? Post your opinions in the comments box. It matters to us. We are a brand new channel, and we are trying to build a community here that actually understands the intersections of business and geopolitics. If you found value in this video, or if you have learned something new, please consider subscribing. It matters for a small channel like us. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.